Welcome back, guys. So today I just want to do a real quick follow-up on the Retro Fighters Brawler 64, controller for the Nintendo 64. So in my previous video, and several others have noted and noticed, we do have an issue with the analog stick and the L shoulder button bumping. So I did point this out in my video. I was very critical of this. I don't change my stance on that at the moment, but we do have more of an idea of what's going on. But I did want to show one thing. So with this button and this bumping when depressed, not every game is going to be affected by that, because obviously not every game uses the L button. Most games don't, in fact. But with this redesign here, most Nintendo 64 games, the L and R button both did the same thing. But typically you would never use the L button because, you had your hand on the middle for the most part, unless you're using the D-pad. But like I said, with this redesign, for some people using the L instead of the R might be more comfortable. So that's just an option, and it is a little, disappointing that this does not function properly at this time. But I did want to point out that depending upon where you hold the L button, from my further unscientific testing, is you're going to get a varying degree of an issue here. So if you hold it from just all the way on the bottom there, you're going to see it rocks a bit. You hold it in the middle, it's rocking even more. Hold it on the top, you don't really feel it. Right here a little bit, and there's a reason for that. So there's a varying degree of severity for this issue. If you're holding down here, you're really going to be affected by it. This button, as soon as your L or your stick is pushing up, that's going to deregister. Holding it in the middle, it's not as apparent and it's a little more iffy. Sometimes it will deregister, sometimes it won't. If you hold up here and you get that rocking motion, if you're holding, pretty tight and you're hitting that way, you'll feel it right here hitting a little bit, but not always. It really won't affect that button too much. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't. So I did want to point that out. Depending upon where you are pressing or holding on the L button, and if you have the stick up that way, it will be a varying severity of an issue. Less likely to have an issue if you're really pushing up here versus in the middle or down here. And there's a reason for that, like I said. So what we did, I did have two of these, and obviously I probably voided my warranty by doing this, but I do these things for you guys to give you a better idea and view. Don't always take my word as gold. Take what I show you, as something that you can use, and that's why I'm doing this. I had this issue, I wanted to share it with you. Some people might not be bothered by it, some people will. For me, I was bothered. That's my opinion, that's my take on it, and hey, it is what it is, and I appreciate you guys listening and hearing me out and watching me, show these problems. So we did open this bad boy up, and on the back here, if you do this yourself, you're gonna have to remove the little sticker there. I think that was like a QC sticker. But you'll have a screw there, one there, one there, one there, and then two on the inside. So that is a total of 7 screws. 2, 4, 6, 7. Yep, 7 screws. Take it out. Now, once those are taken out, this doesn't just pop right off. You kind of have to push these down, the Z buttons, and kind of pop it over. If you don't, you risk, breaking these, and you really don't want to do that. I mean, this is a good controller, don't get me wrong. I hate that I had to be as critical as I did, but honesty is my biggest thing. Like, I'm not going to misrepresent my thoughts, my feelings, my my experiences. I'm going to share that 100% with you guys. And I also do find it interesting that, this is a reshell essentially, because right here would be rumble motors, but that's kind of, beside the point. So once you have that open, there will be a couple more screws, one right there, one right there. So once those are out, this essentially can just come up and over. You still want to be careful with this because those L and R buttons, you know, the little boards are going to be right here, and they are soldered to the board here. So just be careful with that. But what I want to show you is the reason that this is happening. So as you can see here, the L and R button is just all one piece of plastic. It's just essentially one big button that's just separated. And this kind of acts like a spring. Kind of neat way that they did that. Now, as you see here, the R button, it actually will hit the tray for the C button there. But that doesn't affect anything because the C button's not moving, only this way. But on this side, the L button, as you can see, there's a little hook. And it hooks to the side of the plastic there once it springs back up. And like I said, the spring action is because of the way this button is designed. That's essentially the spring, so boing, goes back up. So the little hook there catches this piece so it doesn't have any slack or play coming up, because if that wasn't there, this button could come up, maybe, you know, dust would more easily get in there, and it would be a little loose. So to fix this problem, if you snipped it right here, essentially it probably would fix the issue to a degree, but you got to cut off a good amount for it not to hit pretty much all the way up to here. But then now your button is free to kind of pop up. You know, with this spring the way it is, I don't think it's that likely to pop up that way, but it's possible, and it could more easily break anyway. So why is it doing this? As you see, that hook goes down into the analog tray, the little hole there. When you look at the analog, pretty awesome, really love the analog. This bowl here serves really not a real purpose other than to protect the controller from dust going inside and whatnot, for the most part anyway. So if you like dremeled off a little bit of this, there'd be a noticeable gap when you're moving this around. So I don't know that you want to do that. I would say probably snipping this would be the better bet, but I don't want to do either. I may snip this and then report back, but I'm not 100% yet. But what's happening is once this is depressed, and like I said, there's going to be a varying degree. As you see on, you know, you're pushing there, it's going down further. You're pushing up, it's kind of not hitting all the way. It just depends on where your pressure point is and where you're pushing on how far down that's going to go and be likely to hit this bowl. So it just grind on there, and then it is possible that when it's hitting, because it doesn't really need that much pressure to depress that pad there. So what happens is once this is down and then this analog is moved in that direction, it's going to hit that piece here and then just kind of bump it. So the second it's bumped, depending upon where the pressure is put, you could lose that contact there, thus, you know, losing the button press. So that's what the biggest concern here is. Looking at it, what could have been changed? Well, it's kind of difficult to really look at this controller and be like, well, you know, move this, move that, because it's pretty comfortable the way it is. What could have they done different? So if this would have been moved over a little more, it might not have been as accessible. If you move the D-pad over, it might not be as comfortable if you know, and then this would have, nothing would be uniform anymore. So the only other way to do it really would have been to extend the plastic out a little more from where this is, because that's where the problem is. You just have to imagine that hook coming down and hitting that bowl right there, the little analog bowl. So really, if this was, you know, kind of made a little bigger, you know, the controller, if it was just a little bit bigger, the issue would have been avoided, I think, if the layout stayed the same. The layout's fine. It feels very natural and comfortable. Can't really complain about that. But then at the same time, would have it been possible, because you really see the overlap with this little hook is, you know, I can't measure it at the moment, but just a few millimeters, you know what I mean? It's probably a good 3 or 4 millimeters from where it hooks right there to where the hook actually goes down. So if this was kind of moved down a little bit more, but then it might not have been as comfortable. And when you really look, was there really the room to do that? So maybe the best thing would be a redesigned L and R button. I don't know. But the good news is that Retro Fighters has put out a statement addressing this concern. And I'm very happy to hear that. So earlier today, they did acknowledge that this issue exists, and, you know, that they take full, you know, blame for the problem, not discovering it before production and whatnot. And, you know, appreciate that from them. Really wish it would have been discovered earlier on, but hey, it is what it is. Don't want to knock them necessarily. I was very harsh, and I don't take any of that back. I do really like this controller. I just wish that issue wasn't there. But they are working on an issue. So any future shipments, the new colors that are going to be coming out will not have that problem. Now, for those of us who have these now, they're working on an issue to fix that. So they don't have anything specific at the moment. Who knows? It could be a brand new controller altogether. It could be a redesigned, you know, L and R button spring type thing to put in there. It might be several options. We don't know yet. So I would have been happy waiting a little longer to get this controller, but a lot of people are very impatient, myself included. I can't lie. But it wasn't something I was like, when am I getting it? When am I getting it? When am I getting it? I wasn't thinking about it nonstop until they said they were shipping. So I'm willing to give them a little time to figure this out and to offer a solution to us. Now, like I said, I do have 2 of them. I am deeply, seriously considering modifying this and seeing if it fixes the issue and reporting back. I'll keep at least one of them in stock condition. If I totally jack this one up, I guess I threw away 20 bucks. But when they do have their new release of the colors, I'm definitely going to be grabbing one. I don't care. This is an awesome company. They do awesome products. They had this one misstep that it affects all the controllers, but it's not going to bother everyone. I just feel it's my duty to be honest, report what I see, what I discover. And that's what my original video was about. Not even pre-planned that. It just kind of discovered it and you know, had heard about it and wanted to test it out. So that's why I shared it. Wanted you guys to know, be aware. So with that said, guys, let me know. Do you want me to snip this? Do you want me to modify this and report back? If everybody's positively saying yes, just do it, I will do it. With that said, I appreciate you guys. Smash that like button, subscribe, do all that great stuff. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace out. Bye-bye. Boom.